What up, everybody? This is Derek Hunt from the Life Fearless. Welcome back. Today's date is April 27, 2019. We're back with another episode of the Fearless Show podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Darius Walker. Say what's up, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's the Fearless Show. Back with another episode with a lot of dope shit to talk about. Thank you for being here with us. And yeah, we're about to get into it.
Yeah, so our main topic is going to be, of course, Avengers Endgame, something that everybody is talking about. We're going to go on
Endgame is here.
Full-on spoiler cast about what we thought about it. So if you have not seen it yet, you might want to skip the back part of this episode and come back to it later, because we are definitely going to do a deep dive. But before we get into all of that, we're going to do our usual housekeeping and then our news rundown and, talk about a few things here and there that have happened over the past couple of weeks.
Sure. So we'll give you a little heads up before we get into the spoiler cast. So, yeah, don't worry. Just, bear with us.
For sure. And as always, you can always check the timestamps. But before we get to that, we're going to do a little housekeeping. If you have not seen already, we have talked about this multiple times now in the past few shows, but we have a bunch of new gear on the website. So if you like any of the stuff that you see us wearing in these videos, if you are watching the podcast on YouTube, wherever this goes up, you can see Reese wearing our cap, and we are both actually wearing today our hoodies.
Yeah.
I know summer's coming up, so it might be a little hot for the hoodies, but we do have a new Cultured AF t-shirts to go along with our Cultured AF coffee table book that was released a few weeks ago, and it is dope. So definitely go onto the website and you can check that out for yourself and grab some for yourself.
Definitely.
So that is it for housekeeping. Let's get right into the news. I don't know if you've seen, but Donald Glover just released or announced his latest collaboration with Adidas.
Oh, I've heard some things, but I didn't read into it. I don't know exactly. It sounded confusing.
So he released a kind of short film, which is pretty out there, even for him, and kind of ambiguous, and features Monique and, obviously some shots of some of the shoes that he collaborated with.
Yeah,
Adidas on. So it was a weird short video, but gotta come to expect that from him.
Maybe I feel like I might have seen like a clip, like maybe like an Instagram 30-second chop of it or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute long short video, and it's definitely different. But all of that was made just to announce the 3 new kind of silhouettes that he has with Adidas.
Oh, okay. That's kind of major in a weird way.
I mean, yeah, Adidas, I've always been a Nike guy, I think like most people, but I've definitely taken notice that Adidas over the past few years have definitely been stepping it up on kind of the lifestyle side of things with their shoes and clothing, and particularly with the collaborations that they've made with like celebrities and musicians in particular in the hip hop and kind of urban category.
Yeezys. Let's just say the Yeezys.
Yeezys, but he's not the only one that he worked with. I know they've had a bunch of other collaborations with people that I can't name off the top of my head. But
Virgil from Donda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still Kanye.
I just know they've particularly been investing into the urban kind of side of things.
Definitely.
I think it's a smart move because for sure that whole kind of segment of the population is definitely sort of the tastemakers.
Oh, definitely.
For what is cool. So I mean, I think it's super smart.
It's definitely a major move because, like, the reason I was bringing up Kanye is because of that whole beef, like, brought their stock down a little bit with that brand, the Yeezy that they had in backstock, whatever. People didn't want to wear Adidas because of Drake's little checks over stripes shit. when he was like checks over stripes. That like in the culture gave Adidas a little like in the culture snag. So they needed a new in the culture up. And Kanye wasn't gonna bring that to him, obviously. So boom, Childish Gambino with the visuals that we actually, you know, Kanye with his like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy shit, that's kind of like something I could see. He had something, maybe an idea, but like the fact that Childish Gambino does it, I'm like, oh, that's lit. Because like this kind of rollout is so artistic that it's like it's more than just what he's designing, basically. He's probably connecting this with something else he has going on, you know? Like, and
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I don't know how much. I don't think Yeezy's stock was hurt very much by the whole Drake thing.
not like
He's still
hard.
flying off shelves,
Yeah,
but
not like hard, but like they were probably getting the new forces that are all white instead of the shell toes that day, that month, you know? Like that was all it was, you know? It wasn't crazy, but in the culture, it's an interesting, you know.
I just think
Uh,
it's really dope to see, because it's always been, you know, dealing with athletes, particularly, NBA players, kind of setting the tone for like the shoes and stuff. But with fashion and music and sports so intermingling these days, it only makes sense that they would reach out to more artists to kind of do these dope little collaborations. And they must be paying much better than Nike because
oh yeah,
I see a lot of artists choosing them over Nike.
didn't isn't there rumblings about a Beyonce deal with Adidas?
Yes.
Yeah, Adidas is doing major things right now.
I'm
They're
pretty sure there
trying
was supposed to be one with Drake, wasn't there? It was supposed to be one with Drake
There
and his son,
was until
but
the
I think
story
that
of
kind of got
Adidon.
scrapped. Thanks, Pusha.
Pusha.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just a little quick item. If you haven't seen, the announcement or seen the shoes, you should Google it. Head over to Adidas. I think they're available for sale now. There's 3 different shoes, kind of reimaginings of some of their classic silhouettes. I'm not a huge fan of Adidas, but I think it's dope. And their lifestyle game has definitely been stepped up to a brand new level.
Definitely.
I would love to talk Game of Thrones with you, but you are one of the few lame people on this planet that have not seen the series, so I
That's
really
hilarious.
can't get into it too much. But
Uh-huh.
season 8 is back, and
Season
first 2
eight's
episodes
back.
came, and episode 3 is on the verge of being something spectacular. At least it's setting up to be that way. And I did a little opinion piece yesterday about who I think is going to bite it next and kind of give some odds. So you guys should definitely check that out over there on the site. But like I said, Adidas, Doris is lame, one of the lame people in the world. So we can't get too much into Game of Thrones yet.
I'm binging Game of Thrones right now just because I'm a person. Look, people, if you haven't heard me say this before, you'll hear me say it now. I don't like waiting for good shows. I don't like the anticipation of like seasons and stuff getting invested, and then you gotta like wait. They string you along. Sometimes the cliffhanger's trash, and then the next time they blow you away, and then the next time it's trash again with a bunch of love stories, and you hate it. So I just like to wait and binge it all. So I'm binging all of it to catch up. There's about 3 weeks left until the last episode of Game of Thrones. And guess what? I'm gonna have binged all of the seasons up until the last episode. And I'm sure
I
we'll
mean,
be able to talk.
not the last episode of the season. There's still another season.
There's one more season left after that, right? That's the
Right.
last season after.
One last season. 9 is the last season.
Yeah.
But I mean, you spend most of your life having to wait for new episodes and series, so I don't really understand what the big deal is now.
A big deal is there's so much else other stuff to watch. I don't have to like it's easy to not watch it. It's not like hard. There's so many other things.
You just watch the episode, then you watch those other things, and then next week is here, and then you watch another episode. Like I just don't, whatever, bro.
Yeah,
It's
nah.
just a lame excuse.
I was watching This Is Us that way, and I hated it because I binge watched like the first season, and I had to wait for the next season to come out, and then they trickled it out, and then like they took 2 weeks off, and all that shit makes me mad as a viewer. So I just like wait until I can watch the whole season. I don't like when they be like, "Oh, it's a holiday. We didn't put it out this week." Like what? Come on, man.
Whatever.
No, they be doing that.
Not on Game of Thrones. It's when it starts, it's every week, and then it ends. Like that's it. But I don't think we ever talked about Us on any of our podcasts.
Oh, the movie Us? Yeah. Oh, we didn't. It? Yeah, I saw it.
So I don't want to go too deep into it right now, considering we got the Avengers to cover, and we really want to get into that. But I kind of want to get your opinion of what you thought about, because I feel like it was a pretty divisive movie from him.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the first things I said when I walked out of that movie was that this film may have been too smart for people. Like, I think he did things that were kind of over people's heads. And for an entertainment point of view, it's not going to be as fully entertaining as one might expect from that type of a genre film, because it's so cerebral and like heavy, like twisted like layers of like cultural, like he's literally referencing just like American society, in different layers throughout the whole film. So I thought it was a very interesting actually take on it, and I actually kind of want to see it again just so I can like catch little things. But I don't know. I enjoyed it, and it's one of those films that you don't have to watch again, but like there are little things that you kind of want to like see again or think about a little bit more, and because of this like motifs that he put throughout the film. So I don't know. I appreciate little things like that.
That's interesting you say that, because I think pretty much the exact opposite. I think that people kind of ruined the movie for themselves by overthinking things and thinking everything had a meaning, when I feel like in this movie, way more than in Get Out, he was not trying to have one strong overarching theme or message he was trying to get across. I think he was definitely had messages in there about, particularly about like the social dynamics in America, which I think is always at the core of a lot of his work. But I think it was a lot shallower than people were kind of trying to say was there. And I think because people were trying to figure out the meanings for every little thing, even when I personally didn't think there was meanings for every little thing, that it kind of ruined it for them. Because when you try to piece together all the meanings and try to figure out what this meant, you're gonna leave it from it having it make no sense, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And I think certain people overthought it.
It was definitely made for just kind of the enjoyment factor. Like I was able to just kind of turn off that part of myself and wasn't looking for all these deeper meanings once I kind of got the shallow understanding of what he was just kind of vaguely touching on. And I just enjoyed it for what it was. And it was just, for me, it was just an enjoyable movie, because I think as a director, he has a fucking phenomenal sense of just style. Like he's one of the most stylistic directors out there right now.
Definitely.
And from a kind of aesthetic kind of standpoint, he fucking nailed it. And particularly when it came to the music, like he fucking kills the soundtracks in every movie he's done so far. And I think this one is even better. Like the fact that the way he flipped, I got 5 on it into like a horror theme was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, that was swag. I loved that. I was like, yo, this is so lit. Like that, I got 5 on it. I love that part.
And I think it was definitely more of a style of over substance movie for me than
whereas that's in Get Out,
it still had style, but I feel like there was more of a message.
I feel like in for me that's what in part I feel like there are ways to approach the movie, and I think that's a way to approach the movie, and it's not uh a bad way. I think that's the way everybody should probably approach the movie
Sure.
is by taking it just as entertainment. But like certain details were very telling of like the social things, like the Hands Across America thing is a very strong theme,
I mean, it's
and because
pretty.
that was a real thing, but there was
Yeah, but
controversy over it.
I felt like the things he was, the social aspects he was kind of talking about, alluding to, were
Yeah.
very in your face and on the surface. That I was like, okay, I didn't really need to try to dig into it anymore. Like, I get
Right,
it.
but like how many people actually know about the Hands Across America thing at this age and
I
that
mean,
actually happening and then the demographic of the people that were a part of it and what
I
that meant.
barely, I barely know the Hands Across America thing. I don't
Well,
even think it
that's what
happened.
I'm saying. That's why he's pointing. So that's what I mean is like him making something too smart is because he's pointing at it because no one knows that there was controversy over it because there was a lack of diversity. What I'm saying is there's a lot of things that have more meaning in the movie that can seem to be casual details. That's what I mean. Is that there's a lot of things that are specifically placed and specifically reiterated to look back at again because of
Yeah, I
to
mean,
relate
there's
to
definitely.
current society. So that's what I was saying.
I
It's
mean,
very it's an art piece. It's a basically it's an art piece.
yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
there's definitely more aspects, particularly talking about, classism in America, which was blatantly obvious with the people under and the people above, and stuff like that. Like it's
yeah,
obvious what it was, the haves and the have-nots. But I just thought it was just so in your face that I didn't really feel like I needed to kind of dig into it anymore because in Get Out, he doesn't explicitly say what he's talking about, but I think people of color in particular picked up on a lot of the subliminal deeper meanings he was kind of alluding to about how people kind of look at us and interact with us and kind of
yeah.
a sort of like liberal type of racism that
Hmm.
happens in this country. And I think he had left a lot of cues that certain people would pick up in particular and dig into, where in this one I felt like it was just more, it was just not there in that same type of depth or level to me.
Yeah, no, I think what he did was not make the mysterious part the front runner. I think looking at it as a surface movie makes the most sense because all the other things, like you said, are confusing and take away from just the enjoyment of
Yeah,
watching them
when
film.
you try to like, oh, what does he mean by this or by this or by, you're gonna like
Yeah,
move for
yeah.
yourself because I don't really think he necessarily had reasons behind everything other than it just was a cool kind of thing to do,
Yeah.
Like he even talked about like with the glove and the outfits they were wearing, he just thought it was a
Hmm.
cool like look. So he kind of
Yeah.
did it. People were trying to like imply all these deeper meanings to it when not even in his interview, he's like, well, it was just a cool look that I wanted to do. And
Yeah. Yeah. No, one of the interviews one of the interviews was like, you just made the easiest Halloween costume ever. Like, thank
thanks.
you. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, he was like, you could even go as yourself and be the regular you, like,
Yeah.
from us. And he's like,
Yeah.
if you're a twin, then you're gold. Like, and I was like, oh shit, that's gonna be
I mean, I
Halloween.
think he was just having more fun with this one than I think even on like Get Out, where he had a clear message. I think he wanted to get across, and
Yeah.
even the twist ending was blatantly obvious to me. Like
Oh yeah, that was
I'm
stupid
like,
obvious. I knew the whole time, but I wasn't sure how they were. I was just waiting to see how they'd reveal it. Basically, I was like, how are
eh,
they gonna tell
kind of,
us?
kind of like a wham wham moment. It's like, that wasn't that
Yeah,
great of a reveal to me, but it is what it is.
right.
Like I knew it was coming, so
Yeah.
I wasn't like shocked by it, but I was like, yeah, okay, there it is.
Hmm.
And it wasn't like terrifying or scary in any sort of way. So it was just for me, it was just more of the enjoying the stylistic approach that he took to the movie, and it's uniquely his own style, and his style is a joy to like really just behold from everything from the music to like his decisions in the like the visual department and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I mean, for me, it was a good movie. Not as good as Get Out, but it was still good.
I feel you.
back to some more news. Beyonce released Homecoming with Netflix, which was kind of a documentary about, I guess, her now iconic Coachella performance.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to watch this. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I watched like 20 minutes of it before I was getting ready to pass out. I just needed something to put on. No, I put that on. I'm probably gonna finish it. I was like, it was on Netflix. It was like the day or two before. I was like, oh, this is there.
That Beyonce put you to sleep?
Nah, saying she kept me awake until I was ready to go to sleep.
That's what you better be careful. You know the beehive out there.
Nah, I know, for real. No, actually, that 20 minutes was spectacular. One of the things I said while I was sitting down watching the stuff was like, this is some Michael Jackson shit. I was like, this is some legendary world performer, greatest of all time shit that they've captured. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, because these are separate performances that they've spliced, and the dances are so on point, and the angles, it's crazy. Like, everybody was so on point that the way they spliced the film together, it looked like the same venue, but it was different venues. It was crazy. It was tight.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I thought it was just gonna kind of be a straight up documentary of just the performance itself. But once I started seeing that it was also about like her personal journey to that point, and like all the influences that made her make those choices in the show, kind of made me a bit more interested in seeing it. So I might get around to watching it some point.
Yeah, because I want to watch it more, because it's always interesting seeing her interact with just like her staff and stuff like that. You know, like how decisions are made behind the scenes and stuff like that. So
she's such a huge icon. You don't really get to see that kind of more personal side of her that much.
Right.
But I mean, for those of you that have seen it, what do you guys think about it? Are you fans of Beyonce? And if you were, then I kind of already know how you feel about it. People are already kind of praising it as like this godly piece of work. But you know, let us know in the comments down below, wherever you watch us or listen to us. So we're going to get into some news that has been taken directly from the website. Because, like we said a few weeks ago, we have started a new news category, and we put out a lot of kind of interesting headlines and stuff to discuss there. So I like pulling directly from there. Netflix is also doing another kind of documentary about kind of a concert. This time directed by Martin Scorsese, and it's a film about Bob Dylan's Rolling Thunder Revue, which was one of his concerts, I think, in 1995.
95.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, Scorsese has done a couple of things already about Dylan in particular.
Yeah.
So just to see those two names together, like they're such big, iconic names that you kind of are already kind of pique your interest a little bit. Like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be about,
Right.
So that'll be coming out June 12th.
Okay.
As you know, it is the 25th anniversary, or not 25th anniversary, but the 25th 007 film has been talked about for a while. It's titled Bond 25. I'm sure that's not going to be the final title, but they did recently make a bunch of announcements about it. Obviously, Daniel Craig is back one more time, and I believe he has been in the role the longest out of anybody.
Yeah, I thought he quit last time, but no.
The reason that it's taken so long to come out is because they were kind of not sure if he was going to come back and do it again or if they're going to try to find somebody else. And he decided he wanted to come back and do one last one.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how many he's been in, but it's been a good amount. And I'm pretty sure it's the most out of anybody.
4? Is this the 4th one?
Maybe.
I feel like I only 3, and this will be the 4th? I don't know.
I know he's all right. Spot.
There's Casino Royale.
His first one was Casino Royale 2. So it's been, I don't know if it's the most, but it's definitely the longest run.
Mm-hmm.
He did Casino Royale in 2006, so this would make a 14-year run as 007.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they announced that Rami Malek will also co-star in it, and he could be the movie's lead villain, and I could see him as a villain.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, definitely. That sounds dope.
With some writing help from Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who has done a bunch of other big stuff recently, so could be dope.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since Spectre.
Oh, 5?
Yeah, it's been a while. Casino Royale is one of my favorite 007 movies ever. Like that.
Yeah, I love that one.
Phenomenal.
That Casino Royale is lit. With
Quantum of Solace, not so much, but Spectre,
that was kind of lame.
Was pretty good. It was definitely back on the right track.
Yeah,
it's just interesting because the last Mission Impossible, I think, was the first time that I enjoyed a Mission Impossible movie more than any 007 film in recent memory.
Oh, I know, right? And that was shocking because I was like, this was like a.
Yeah. That shit was so good. I was like.
I was shocked that the writing actually worked and everything. Like, it was like, this is like really good. This is a good one. Like
the action sequences, everything was like fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, like even like with the beginning and end, like the saving the family, like all of it was like perfect.
So I think it's time, another Bond film. It'd be
For
dope
real.
to see a new actor at this point, but one last ride for Daniel Craig.
Well, I know one thing we'll get with the 007 is a new soundtrack. Who's gonna be the new? Who you think is gonna give us the new soundtrack?
Please don't use Adele again. Or Sam Smith. I really didn't like Adele or Sam Smith's version. I'm not gonna lie.
I really didn't like Sam Smith's. I enjoyed Adele's. I got it. I understood why they picked Adele that year. I was like, all right, yeah, I get it. But Sam Smith, I was like, somebody else could have.
How about Georgia Smith?
Oh, that'd be lit. That'd be lit.
Be dope.
Yeah, Georgia Smith.
So next, Stranger Things, as you know, is set to release soon. I believe in July. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. It could be I think it's the final season. I know they were talking about just doing 3, but I'm not sure. Yeah. But some other news relating to it was Charlie Kessler laid down a lot of accusations, I think last year or the year before, about the Duffer Brothers, saying that they stole his idea for Stranger Things, that he approached them with a kind of 80s type of sci-fi film like this, or project TV series called the Montauk Project, and
I heard about
just
this.
Now going to court. So he finally have his day in court on May 6th of this year. And from the details, it doesn't really sound too good for the other parties, the defendants. Let's say Duffer Brothers and Netflix.
Yeah.
Because the working title for one point of Stranger Things was the Montauk Project.
Yeah.
Which is his.
I think they had full like artwork and everything ready for it. Like I feel like I've seen it somewhere.
Yeah, and the fact that he had pitched it to them in 2014 at a film festival under the Montauk Project doesn't look too good for them, but we'll find out soon.
Crazy.
And if they did just outright kind of jack this shit from him, that'd be fucked up. And he's going to get a lot of money for that.
Oh yeah, I mean they should give him. There should be punitive damages for that. That's some bullshit. People shouldn't be allowed to do that. They should definitely, but whatever. Yeah, if they did that.
Hmm.
Right.
But yeah, we'll find out soon enough. What is what?
Mm-hmm.
So an unfinished sort of sequel to Anthony Burgess's A Clockwork Orange novel has just been found amongst, I guess, a bunch of his papers. And I think dates back to the 70s, and it was lost or thrown away at some point in the suburbs of Rome where he was living at the time.
Huh. Oh,
And
crazy.
yeah, and for those that don't know, A Clockwork Orange was highly controversial film adaptation by one Stanley Kubrick.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of big news that they found a quasi kind of sequel to it, or unfinished sequel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that film's crazy.
It's
Cult
something.
classic.
It's something for sure. Like I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. But
Fam, that shit is twisted. Bro, I just had flashbacks to some weird shit. That movie's weird. That movie's weird.
yeah, it's definitely something. It's something that
It's
you definitely just have to
not,
see, man.
it's
Like
not for everybody.
it's not for
It's not
everybody.
your average.
Let's
It's
just
not your
say at
average
the time
radar.
when it came out, which I believe was '70s, it was banned. It was banned in UK, and I think it was taken down in the US because there were like some kind of copycat type of crimes going on and stuff. And
Oh, yeah, there was like, well, because they were like a band of fucking guys like
and
raping
murder.
chicks and like murdering people, doing whatever the fuck, like, and
It's
causing chaos.
crazy story.
Yeah. Yeah, they called raping the old in and out, or no, just sex. They were just like the in out, the old in and out, or whatever it was. They said, yeah. I was like, that's crazy. But like in the movie when they do it, instead like the book, is like twisted plot, but it's in paper. But when you're seeing it happen in the movie, shit is wild.
Yeah, it's weird. It's out
What?
there. Definitely, it's out there.
Yeah, that's why it's weird to see people do it. Everybody, you always see one person dressed up as the homie from Clockwork Orange at Halloween every year. Someone's
I mean, I
always,
could kind of see why, because it is so different than anything else out there. The story and the film itself, and the fact that it was Stanley Kubrick.
yeah,
But I think it's some people. You either love it or you kind of hate it. Like it's no real in
yeah,
between. It's definitely
definitely.
one of those type of films.
Yeah, it was like on that experimental edge cuff. Like it was like American New Wave, if there's such a thing.
So I mean, I wonder if the sequel could lead to an actual sequel, kind of in the film. Huh?
That would be wild.
Without Stanley though. Hmm.
Do we want that? I don't know. I don't know if people are asking for
Nah,
that.
nah.
Yeah, yeah, nah. Who would do it? Nobody would do it.
Nobody
Del
can think of
Toro?
it. Nobody. Nah, it's not his style.
Yeah, be
But
totally.
sticking with kind of older film, a massive Charlie Chaplin archive is now available to the general public online. Um,
Hmm.
the Fondazione Cinecittà di Bologna, the Bologna Film Library Foundation, has opened a special online Charlie Chaplin archive, and I believe it contains nearly 30,000 pieces of like his personal documents and images, and it's open to the public. So it's kind of a big
Hmm.
deal considering Charlie
Oh
Chaplin
yeah,
is such an icon in film, and for them to get a
super
collection that
iconic.
large and be that open for everybody, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, that's crazy for people like, because that's an archive that no one's ever been able to, like for a legend, anything from a legend that just comes out is just like what, because people have studied, emulated, researched, written papers about, recreated in new storylines and movies and like made their own characters about this character kind of shit. Like that's legendary. So like to put more stuff for people that were like already obsessed is kind of it's like
Mm.
oh shit.
I mean, I checked out a little bit of it. It's definitely dope. It's definitely something. If you even like film even a little bit, you should check out just for kind of its historic value.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, it's like a museum online,
Yeah. And
basically.
speaking of kind of museums and exhibitions, Leonard Cohen's own self-approved exhibition is kicking off its international tour starting in New York.
Mm.
The exhibit's called Leonard Cohen, A Crack in Everything, originally debuted in Montreal in 2017 and featured 12 artists and 18 musicians from 10 countries. And now it's kind of taking its tour all across the world,
Mm.
starting in New York. And it'll
Oh,
remain
that's
in New
dope.
York from April 12th until September 8th, 2019,
Mm. Well, that's dope.
at the Jewish Museum. So,
Oh yeah, it's downtown. Yeah, that's tight.
yeah. And the fact that, it was self-approved by the man himself is always kind of dope.
Yeah, for sure, right? That's major. Because it's good to keep like, stuff like that alive and just
Art lives forever, man.
yeah, the art. That's what's tight about art, man. That's why we in here, chopping it up because we all interested in this creative just output.
So that is it for our general news items that I kind of want to touch on and talk about. For more kind of info and details, you should definitely head over to the site where we have much more on on a lot of the topics that we talked about. And we have more coming pretty much every day, so definitely head on over there. But before we get into our full-on spoiler cast, we kind of have to talk about this. I want to talk about this. Um, the Notre Dame Cathedral, I'm sure you saw.
Oh yeah.
Everybody saw it was all over the news and being live streamed. Caught on fire, I think, last week, um, and burned basically the roof to nothing. Um,
Yeah.
and it is such an iconic, building and piece of architecture, not only in France but around the world. That's why it was
Mm-hmm.
such a big deal. And I was actually there. I was actually in Paris, man, maybe a couple days before. Maybe two
Yeah.
days before it caught flames. And I mean, I've been lucky enough to have been able to see it multiple times throughout my life, inside and out. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have some memories from that. And a lot of people have not had that chance, which kind of sucks. But what I want to talk about in particular is since it burned down, basically in the following day, people donated, well, wealthy individuals and corporation companies donated over $700 million, and I'm sure that mark is well over $1 billion by now. But within 24 hours, over $700 million were donated to the cathedral and kind of restoring
Mm.
it. What do you think about that?
700 million. I mean, you said it. Historic cathedral. It's got world history. That's too much. I seen the whole timeline was everyone who ever been there was posting pictures of them
Yeah, God, this shit
in
wasn't
front
annoying
of it.
enough.
Yeah, fam. I was like, okay, like, all right, like, why are you posting that? Like, everybody, hey, but uh, it's just crazy. I could definitely see that. Like, it's the number. Just hearing it out loud sounds wild. Like if you asked me how much, I might guess like 200 million.
Nearly $1 billion in 24 hours
Yeah,
for a building,
yeah. But
albeit an
then,
historic one, but a building.
yeah. But then you say it, then I'm just like, but then it makes me think like, oh, that must have been that's the one percenters like sliding
Oh,
something over.
1,000%. People
You
were
know?
donating that weren't even from France. So,
Yeah. It was like I bet you like like major percentages of it, like 5% came from one donor, like a big
I
ass
think two donors donated 200 million apiece, and one
yeah,
donated like 100 million, 50 million, and
yeah. Just like, all right, well, and they can write it off. They might even get it back because of that. How rich they are. That's what's crazy. The way they could slide it around and make things that. Oh, that's wild. But it makes sense. I mean, it's legendary shit. It's a building that like, but that's the problem. See, because like, if there was a different kind, like, what other buildings? Like, how many different buildings?
The black churches that were burned down in the South the same
Yeah,
week.
bam. That's the exact same thing I said. I told somebody I was like, well, everybody's talking about this, but I was like, I haven't heard anything about the churches. There's like 3 churches were burned down by a dude in uh was it Carolina?
Mm,
Or
no, maybe
Lord,
Virginia.
Virginia. Oh man, I
Maybe I
forgot.
don't remember
I'm gonna
exactly.
look that up. But I just remember being mad because I found that news out, and then I just only saw the Notre Dame thing. And I was like, that's a fire across the sea. That's across the pond. I was like, there's in-home terrorism happening with churches, several churches being burnt to the ground, and you want to talk about the church across the pond that is basically clickbait right now. Like at this point, like
Okay, so my initial thoughts after seeing that first were, "Oh, that's cool," and then my initial reaction after that initial reaction was a sense of disgust. Um,
yeah,
I get it. Look, I get it. It's historic. It's been around for hundreds of years. It is, iconic for not only France but you know Catholicism
oh
and architecture.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I believe it is still a building. Um,
right,
and the fact that and the fact that within less than 24 hours, somehow people were able to raise 700 million for this building, while there's so
hmm
many other things of crucial importance and dire need that can't even get
like
a single
word,
cent. It's kind of disgusting to me, and it kind of epitomizes just how out of touch people are with what the real world is. And I get it, again, it is
yeah,
iconic, but if you drive even 30 minutes down outside of there and kind of towards leaving Paris, you will see
mm,
a gigantic uh encampment of tents and homeless people living under the freeway bridges. And it's
yeah,
just such a weird fucking dichotomy because at the same time in France, every Saturday for like the past, I don't even know how many weeks, maybe 18 or some shit like that,
mm,
there have been protests in the streets of the so-called Yellow Jackets about many things with the government and
hmm
shit. And the fact that the president of France was supposed to kind of have a press conference talking about those issues that have been raised by this
yeah,
group and the citizens of France, that he conveniently had, you know, he conveniently postponed that press conference to make a press conference about the cathedral was kind of like a sick
yeah,
joke to me because like people are talking about real issues and real shit that's
hmm
going on and real problems, and then you get a building, albeit a historic building, catches fire and its house roof burns down, and instead of talking about those issues, you switch to talk about a building, and it's
yeah.
like,
But it's a religious building.
okay, that's owned probably by the richest religion in the world, uh,
Yeah,
in one
yeah,
of the richest countries in the world. Like,
yeah.
I don't really think they needed the donations. I'm just saying, but to
Oh
me,
yeah, no, they didn't.
it was just like darkly humorous because, of course, they would be able to find all this money for
Oh yeah,
this when they can't even solve any of the other issues, real issues, or even care to talk about any of the real issues. And of course, he would have a press
Right.
conference about it that would push out this previously planned press conference about the real shit that people wanted to talk about. But I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So I don't think there's a conspiracy behind it, but I just definitely think it was just a gigantic, representation of kind of where we are as a society and what's important, really, when people, want to talk about. And these are people you say religious. Okay, you say religious now, right?
Yeah.
So if they're religious people and they're giving back to the church, okay, that's cool. But why weren't you giving back to all these other issues when you are a religious person? Because I'm pretty sure a building is not at the core of a religion. But whatever. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Rich people got a different type of value system.
We have, as people, have a fucked up
Well,
value
yeah.
system.
I mean, social media is proof of that. Our values are completely self-absorbed and only with, like, I don't know, it's just crazy. The sensationalism of it. It's definitely 700 million
A billion.
overnight is a wild. That sounds nuts.
A billion now.
Yeah, a billion. They couldn't do that in America for Hurricane Katrina.
Or Flint or anything.
Flint. Flint still doesn't have clean water right now.
Priorities.
2019.
I always say, give them a chance, they will show you what their real priorities are. And
Yes.
I don't know. Like I said, it was just kind of a disgusting sight for me in terms of seeing it burn, and then in terms of
They
seeing
put the money
the
up
media
because they want
response.
their name on a plaque on the new joint. So it can say the Rothschild wing or like,
I hope, bro. I hope if they do that, I think it's gonna lose a lot of its intrinsic value, particularly with me.
well, it doesn't have the age anymore. So even if they rebuild it, it'll never feel the
Well,
same.
it's just the roof, honestly. The
Yeah.
towers are fine. The outside's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just like, I get it from an artistic standpoint. It always
Yeah.
sucks to lose a piece of something, that important from that kind of artistic type of standpoints. But at the end of the day, it's still just a fucking building.
Yeah. Thanks.
But that was my little rant about it. What did you guys think about it? Did you get a chance to see the Notre Dame before, it's this fire? What do you think about the outpouring that happened immediately after? What do you think that says about us and kind of as a society? Let us know in the comments wherever you watch us or listen to us. So yeah. Now that is all out the way, let's get to the main event again. We are going
It is
into
time.
spoilers about Avengers Endgame. So if you have not seen it yet and do not want to have shit spoiled, skip this part and come back later after you've seen it. So, initial thoughts?
Avengers Endgame. Well, I knew it was the Endgame, so basically I was just like, all right. How are they gonna? How are they getting everybody back? How are they gonna beat Thanos? How are they gonna get everybody back?
Did it answer those questions satisfyingly for you?
I'm satisfied. Honestly, I feel like I'm satisfied. I don't think. At first, I was a little unsure in the beginning. I was like, I don't know. It felt like I don't know. It just felt strange because like once they eliminated the villain, here's a spoiler.
So this is
Actually,
spoiler cast.
I'm jumping
The
right
scene you're
into the
talking about.
spoiler.
All right, so
Thanos.
the scene you're talking about is they find Thanos after he snapped. They track him down. The remaining kind of Avengers and heroes, and they kill him. They straight up kill him. Thor chops his well, who chops his arm off? Somebody
He
chops his
chops
arm off.
off his arm off. I think Thor chops his arm off.
Yeah, Thor had a lot of anger to get out, so he chopped his arm off, and then he eventually chops his head off once he
Yeah,
reveals that he used the Infinity Stones to destroy the Infinity Stones.
yeah, yeah. Because they basically tracked him because he used the Infinity Stone. They
Right.
found the energy pulse, so they went to that
Yes.
planet, and
Found
Thanos
him as
was
a
picking
farmer.
veggies and fruit
Yes.
in the garden, like putting seasoning on his fucking food, like, and then they jumped in and killed him. But Thor, that was a lit scene though. Thor was like, they're like, "What did you do?" He was like, "I went for the head," like, because that's what
Yes.
Thor told him that, like, when he said like
Should
you
have
should
went
have
for the
went.
head. Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Um. Okay. So the opening part for me, I think the best part about it was that they somehow were able to make it feel and seem like everything was really hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I was expecting him to kind of go right back into the there's hope again. We figured
Hmm.
it out, like right away. But they kind
Yeah.
of held off on that, even going so far as like having 5 years after the fact. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty shocking.
Yeah.
And
It felt very adult, like
yeah,
for comic book film compared to some of their other efforts with like
it
Guardians
was
of
a
the Galaxy and stuff.
pretty dark and bleak opening. Like it was, I was really like, hmm. Once they
That was a
teased him
sad
like
opening.
that, and once he really said like I destroyed the stones, I was really kind of like, damn, how the fuck are they going to fix this now? I was really like, I wasn't really entirely sure how they
Yeah,
were going to actually solve the problem. I think that was the best part of the opening for me is that they really somehow managed to capture that feeling of hopelessness, even though you know it's a superhero movie and you know that eventually they're going to win, but you don't really know how and it doesn't seem possible at the time.
right. Yeah, it was crazy, like because that part really showed how serious they were gonna be. It kind of set the tone, like, yo, this is serious, like
Bleak,
you
yeah.
know, like this ain't just about action, y'all. But it was such a I think the movie had a very good balance of action and like drama, you know,
And comedy. Like that's
and
the
comedy. There
honestly
wasn't too
that's
much
one of my
comedy.
favorite things about Infinity War and this is that even with all the stakes, with all the heroes and characters and all the melodrama going on, they still somehow manage to like
Yeah.
effortlessly put in like comedic scenes that don't feel forced.
But they put it in the perfect times too. Like
Yeah.
right when it felt like it was gonna be too sad, they brought it back up. Like, like I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, people are gonna be crying right now. And then like it switched over into like, somehow a nice like humorous like, thing happened. It was just like,
People don't get just how hard that is to do. Not only in a movie, but in a movie as fucking big as the Avengers, with that many
for
differing
real.
characters and personalities and overhanging, threat. Like it's insane that they were able to pull off. And I'm still like in awe that they're even able to pull like these last two movies off. And if you have no idea just how hard it is to pull
Man,
off a
even this
tone,
last movie, like
yeah,
both of these movies, it's ridiculous. This is like it's I haven't seen anything like this since maybe The Matrix. Like,
Matrix had a ton of issues
but
with
it
tone.
didn't have the universe, it didn't have other casts from other
Yeah, they
movies
didn't
and like
have to
so
juggle like 30 different characters with different personalities, different backstories, different, motives,
it
and
make
then
it makes sense,
still
like,
make it dramatic yet funny at the same time.
yeah.
But serious, like if you
Yeah.
don't realize how hard that is to do, just go watch Justice League.
Oh, I was just shitting
Do
on
it.
that, man.
They don't
Oh,
do it well at all. Like all the comedic moments in there feel so fucking forced.
yeah. It's crazy. Dang, Justice League. That's so upsetting. I really wanted to like that movie.
I don't hate it, but it's just like, man, the tone is fucking off throughout the entirety of the movie.
Yeah, it's not good.
They
But
do
there's
not
great
do
action
uh,
moments. The
a
Superman
big
shit is amazing. Superman in Justice League is crazy. I love it, but
They do not do comedy and lightheartedness well in
no,
the DC.
yeah, they don't.
But
But
I
sometimes they
digress.
don't get seriousness all that right either.
Um,
But that's here nor there. Back to you know.
Back to the good one. Yeah, so like I said, just the fact that they were able to juggle the tone of everything in this one, I think maybe even better than in Infinity War was uh, pretty incredible to me.
Yeah, I think it was better. I think that there was a little bit more seriousness in even just the actors that were like doing stuff, like, and I think because Infinity War was like setting this movie up, that it kind of makes sense that this movie is a little bit better, to me at least.
Mm,
I feel like it's a little bit better. There
I
was one there's one part that lets me down though. One
what part is that?
character. Well, Bruce Banner, the Hulk.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure how I felt about.
Fam, he got saved by Ant-Man at the end. Ant-Man saved the Hulk, fam.
Yeah, they
That was
definitely
the
powered him
moment
down.
where the Hulk should have done something and they could have made him who he's supposed to be. But they made Ant-Man get big and save his life.
Right. So in Infinity War, you basically don't get the Hulk at all, except for the
Yeah.
opening scene where he gets his ass whooped. So then in this one, I was really kind of expecting to see him really kind of Hulk out and kind of make up for his absence in Infinity War.
Yeah.
But because, I mean, it was cool to see. All right, so it was cool to see that
It
Bruce
was
Banner and the
cool.
Hulk kind of figured out their issues and they were able to like meld the best parts of each one, you know what I'm saying, into one, basically
Yeah,
a
like
perfect Hulk.
merge and be a Hulk. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but god damn it, I wanted to see him Hulk out, like, and
For
fuck some
real.
shit up. And you don't really get to see that at all.
Yeah, at all. It was crazy. Like he was making fun of himself hulking out. Like
Like, yeah, it was funny, but goddamn, that's what I want to see. Like,
yeah, I was like, nah, fam, really destroy it though. Like throwing a bench because you're sad is not the action I'm looking for from the Hulk.
nah, right. I was like, that was weak. That
Yeah.
was weak. And he barely threw it, and he just felt super underpowered compared to what we've seen from him before. And I was pretty disappointed by it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, God damn it. I want to see the Hulk fuck some shit up. This might be the last time we really get to see him do this.
Yeah. Tell me, how is Okoye getting more action in every fight scene
Right.
than the
Even in the
Hulk?
end, she fucking shit
Yeah,
up.
Okoye was fucking shit up, bro. And then the Hulk can't do anything.
I dead ass barely remember what the Hulk did in the end fight scene.
He got saved by Ant-Man.
No, he got saved in the building. I
Yeah,
mean, in the actual battle between
in the
everybody.
actual battle. Yeah.
I'll punch a couple things.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Punch a
God,
couple
like, do
things.
you remember how cool it was to see the Hulk fuck shit up in Avengers, like the first one?
Yeah, because he couldn't be stopped.
He was the Hulk.
That's the
Yes,
Hulk.
that's the
Yeah, he
Hulk.
was.
Like that was the Hulk. That's what we wanted to see finally on screen in the right way for a long fucking time, and they nailed it so perfectly in the first one. And then to see them kind of go out with a whimper in this one,
Yeah.
I agree with you, was disappointing. Like I
Yeah.
liked him as a character because I do actually like Mark Ruffalo, Bruce
No, I like
Banner,
Mark Ruffalo, but this
and I
proves
do
he'll
like the
never
Hulk.
have his own movie. They're not gonna
I,
make a Hulk with him.
I because obviously there's issues with Warner Brothers. I think it's Warner or maybe Universal that actually owns the Hulk's right. Hulk is still only being loaned out, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's why there
Yeah,
is
it's
no standalone
Universal.
frame.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy.
but yeah, like to see him go out with the whimper in this last kind of phase sucked. I want to see him Hulk
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
we got to see a lot of that in Ragnarok, but come on.
Fam. And then he had an arm brace on.
I mean, he also did use the gauntlet, so I kind of understood that if
Yeah, but
Thanos
Thanos
can be
never
as
needed a
fucked up
gauntlet.
as Thanos was
Thanos used
fucked
the
up.
yeah, but he used the glove twice.
Thanos is technically what? He's initially stronger than the Hulk. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He never arm brace. He was picking vegetables and sprinkling fucking
His arm
seasoning
was
on
super
his
fucked up.
breakfast. It was. He was limping. He was definitely injured. They showed him walking up like kind of fucked up from
Super
like
fucked.
yeah.
It's just come on, bro. Like this is our last. This might be our last chance. Like why? Why?
I was just saying all they did was make him look weak the whole time. And,
It
like
did.
and
Super weak. I was
he
pissed
was
about
like
that.
basically the comedy relief. He was one of the comedy elements. It was Tim and Thor in like Ragnarok. It was basically like a worse Ragnarok. Like
Yeah,
well
yeah.
not that thing, that's what they brought was that. That's what
Straight
they were doing.
comedy. Even Thor. They under. All right, I'm gonna get Thor in a second, but
Thor,
I just want to say one last thing about Hulk. Like
yeah.
when you see that they kind of merged into one perfect Hulk, where you have the best of Bruce Banner's smarts, and then you have Hulk's physical powers, you were expecting to see Hulk on another fucking level than
Yeah, I was
you've
like,
ever
this
seen
should
him
amp you
before.
up. You should be better than ever.
Like he should be the best fighting fucking machine ever seen, because now he's not just a mindless beast,
Now you
but
can control the power.
he's fucking intelligent as hell. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it sucks.
So
All
yeah,
right,
that was my
yeah,
biggest gripe.
I agree. That sucks. I kind of overlooked it because the other scenes were so
It was
fucking good.
easy to overlook because so much was happening.
But
But
then
when I
I
thought
think
about
I was
it,
like,
I was like,
God damn
man,
it, there wasn't enough Hulk in that shit.
yeah, nah, I was
Like,
pissed. I
there's
was
a lot
real
of Hulk,
pissed.
but there wasn't Hulk really. It was just Bruce Banner and as a big green guy. Like,
He might have just, yeah, it was basically the last movie, except he looked green this time. When he
uh,
was
yeah, that was disappointing.
he might as well have been Hulk in the Hulk suit, like the machine Iron Man suit. He could have done that.
I mean, he's not dead, so
Yeah, he's not dead. And then the whole dead thing, there's some loopholes. We're not gonna get to the loopholes. We're gonna talk about more good shit first.
I want
But
to talk about Thor. He sucked too,
okay.
for the most part.
Bam.
Yeah, the
The
moments. Okay, so there was definitely fucking pure comedy when he first showed up, and he had the beer gut going and all that
I
shit.
was
Like
like, is this for real?
pure comedy. I'm not gonna lie, I was dying.
Yeah.
But they
We got
dragged that.
beer on the ship. He's like, what kind? Like what the fuck?
They're playing Fortnite. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that shit was funny. Okay,
Playing Fortnite, yeah.
but then they dragged it on way too long. Like, way
Yeah.
he's like whimpering and
In
crying and shit.
Asgard when
And
they were
yeah,
like,
the whole scene of Asgard sucked, and
yeah.
like
Yeah,
they
that was
must not have had Natalie Portman because there was no real interaction.
well, that's what I was wondering, but they kept writing
I
it off slick like
seen- I haven't seen that one in a long
she was
time.
in that one scene, but it looked like leftover footage. Like,
Like it didn't really feel like they had her actually on set doing anything.
but they said I heard she was at the red carpet for the premiere.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out why
But that's
there was no
weird. Like, why would she go to the premiere? Like,
there's
I'm so
acting.
confused.
I feel like they this whole time ever since that one movie they've kind of been trying to act like she never really existed. Just a little
Yeah,
mention here, not really, you know.
exactly.
And I thought that we were gonna actually get some type of closure there, like he's actually gonna kind of talk to her, but no, he was acting like a bitch. He's the god of thunder who's
Facts.
willing to fight anybody at any fucking time. I get it. You're
I was
distraught. You
like, why are you
failed.
still sad? You cut off his head. And I was like, fam, nobody on Earth, like, all your people were dead, like, before he killed everybody. You know,
You
like,
already fucked before came along.
yeah, I'm
Like,
like, what are you the saddest for? Like, why are
look,
you drunk?
I mean, I get it. You're upset. You failed. That doesn't, whatever. But they drug that shit out way too much. Like, they
Yeah,
played it up way too much, and he didn't really even snap into form until like the very end.
the very end. But that was mostly Cap.
Yeah. So
But
Hulk
one
and
good thing I will say though, with Thor, one good thing that came out of this was kind of going along with the comedy relief is the Guardians of the Galaxy shit and the potential for
Yeah.
that. That's definitely gonna be a movie. They're
So I
definitely
mean,
gonna do.
it felt like, damn, is he gonna be in the Guardians now? Like, what's going
Well,
on?
that's a real comic. There's a comic called the Asgardians. It was a
So,
real, actual Segway
but
comic. So they might make a
I don't know.
movie with
I don't
more
know
of them.
contract. I don't know contract details with them, but I would watch that shit.
No, I would watch that shit. That looks exciting. That looks like part of Phase 4. I feel like they were trying to set that up for one of their Phase 4 movies. I
The
think that might
dynamic
happen.
between him and like Quill and like Rocket is fucking brilliant.
That sounds so sick, right? With
Yeah.
fucking Groot there.
You know who's in charge? I'm in charge, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit was funny, bro. Like,
That
yeah,
was
that shit was
lit.
fucking good, bro.
Yeah, nah. So like, if they do that, I'm with that comedy
I'm with
relief.
that
That
shit,
makes
yeah, for
sense.
sure.
I love that. Yeah. So like, I'm
Only thing,
not
all right.
shitting on it. So like, there's some hope in it. But like, yeah,
Only
like you
thing
said, it's too heavy.
I am kind of concerned about with Guardians is I don't really want to see Peter Quill have to woo Gamora all over again.
Well, you're gonna have to. That's basically what they told us was gonna happen.
Because
With
surprise, surprise, Gamora is back. They didn't save her. She just came from the
back from the
past.
past.
And, all right, so all right. So one of my main confusing parts about the whole Endgame shit is with the time shit. Okay, so time travel is always a very tricky thing in movies, and it never makes sense. And here it still doesn't make any fucking sense. And they tried to like really simplify it, where they're saying basically all movie time travel is basically Back to the Future based,
Yeah.
where anything you do in the past affects the future directly. And I guess kind of what I took away is them saying that that's not true. It just
That's
kind
what
of
they
creates.
said. But then they literally did the Back to the Future formula.
Yeah, so they did go back,
Because you think
but
about the Tesseracts, and then like
it didn't change anything in the present though.
Gamora and the uh a Nebula. That's what changed the future.
They came to the
Nebula.
future.
Yeah, but Nebula, them
But here's
going
what I'm saying.
Nebula being in the past
Here is
changed the
why
future.
I'm confused. I know
So
why
that's
they
why
made it.
that was the Back to the Future thing.
They made it that way because if they were following the Back to the Future logic, if they took something as important as like the Tesseract from the past,
yeah.
that would change every single movie and every single event leading up to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that you can just fuck around in the past and do whatever you want and have no consequences in the present, I think was kind of a cop out for sure. And there's
It
just so many
definitely made
fuzzy
things.
moments dealing with time in this movie that left me kind of scratching my head, like how the fuck is that possible?
Yeah.
Nebula, Nebula killed herself, her past self.
Nebula killed her past self. And then I was looking like, is she gonna
She's
disappear?
gonna die. I dead ass thought a hole was gonna appear in the shit. I was like, oh, she's
Yeah.
herself, and nothing.
Nah. I'm good. I'm good. Like, okay, all right.
I still don't get the time
So
shit.
then it goes back to what they were saying. So then they tried to prove themselves right with saying that changing the past won't affect their future
I just don't
because
get it.
it's already happened. So it's technically their past.
It was confusing. It was a cop out. It was a way for them to do whatever the fuck they wanted to.
Well, because that's what I was saying. I was like, because then I was talking about like they needed those like what is it like the pips or whatever particles. What's his name? Pin particles. So I was like, if that's the only way, I was like, how is Cap supposed to drop them all off? I don't understand how he travels.
Yeah, so that brought me to like my final kind of like, what the fuck? Cap. He stays behind and he stays with Carter and he reappears as like this really old fucking guy. Like basically to pass the torch and retire from filming his role as Captain America. Okay, it was a nice little touch, passing the torch to Falcon, which he does in the comics,
That was
and you'll
canon.
see him.
That was
And,
canon. That's
and he
comic.
definitely gets his, his happy ending because he got to spend a lifetime with Agent Carter. But
Gave her that dance that he said he owed her. They showed that scene of them dancing. See, yeah, they be playing little Easter eggs in there. Like, yo, remember that? Like,
but again, it's just confusing because logic, at least the movie logic that we've all basically been built upon, believing when it comes to time, would suggest that him doing that, staying behind, would change fucking everything.
yeah. So they wouldn't be at that point with everything that happened and him
Yes.
actually be there.
Yeah.
So how could he be there if it was an alternate timeline?
It's just like fucking mind blowing when you just kind of try to figure it out. Like it
Yeah,
just
no,
doesn't
that
make
was
any
the
sense.
weirdest part. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. There's
Any
no way
sense.
he could live to be old in everything
Be the same.
derived the way. But see, that here it is
That
again
doesn't make
because it
sense
already
though. I
happened.
don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck what. Doesn't make sense.
But because they said they can't changing the past won't affect their future because their future that was already the past. He was already his young self in that future, so you can't. They couldn't erase that, which made no sense. Because then he went on to say, if we bring back the stones in the same spots, it'll erase these other timelines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because then they're like, oh, if you touch the stone, they're just gonna create havoc in the timelines. And all right, but and you bring him back and it fixes everything. But then Cap fucking stayed behind forever. Like he's just as important as an Infinity Stone, if not more.
That was weird. That was weird.
It was just weird. That shit really just that was real shaky to me. Like their explanation, their whole time shit. It was real. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong.
Fun.
But just shaky as fuck. Like when you really start thinking about it, it's like, that was shaky at best.
But what they were doing was having fun. They kept referencing a bunch of shit. Like when they referenced the Beatles and like the Beatles, like the Yellow Submarine is like there's like a part where they like go through time, like
like I said, it was really fun, even though it didn't make sense. And for me, one of the best parts of the whole movie is that it was just pure homage to the whole entire MCU. It was like a giant love letter to everything, all the movies that came before it. There's so many callbacks.
40% Iron Man though.
Yeah, so well, you know why? Because they killed at the end. So
Stark dies.
But okay, before we get there, but like I'm saying, like there was a ton of callbacks to the old movies, to the old events, the old characters, and it was just like a giant love letter to the entire.
Well, even with the Hulk, when he did the glove thing and he said he could take it, that's like kind of how he got his powers. When he said he could, like, they were doing some tests or something in one of the movies. I don't remember which one. The one that I feel like they care about.
Hulk already had his powers, and
no, but Bruce Banner. I'm saying the Bruce Banner, like how Bruce Banner became the Hulk. I think there was something.
Spear explosion, and he was bombarded with gamma rays.
Yeah, I don't know. Something happened. I don't know. Something happened. That's a comic book. That's comic.
Nah, not in the MCU.
No,
the callbacks were specifically to the MCU, not the comic books. There was a ton of flashbacks. They even go back and see. They literally go back to the old scenes in the other movies and like fuck around in those areas. And it was kind of just ways.
Oh, that was weird too. Wasn't that crazy? So where's Loki?
Dead.
But the Tesseract, when he disappeared in the past.
Right.
Loki dipped.
He just dipped. That doesn't change anything though, remember?
I was just like, they're just gonna, all right.
Yeah, they never did explain that one.
No, they just let it ride. Like,
they said, fuck it, we're gonna go back even farther.
We're just gonna get the Tesseract in a different timeline. Fuck it,
again, that time shit was fluky.
That was weird, man. I was like, all right, Loki's in and out. Word.
Yeah, so we're just gonna let him just escape with that. Oh, okay. Whatever, bro. Just enjoy it. Basically, they're saying, just enjoy this. We're gonna take you back so you can meet Tony Stark's father. I don't know. I just liked it because it was a giant homage to the MCU, which is over like basically 20 plus movies, done something mind-boggling, something you'd consider impossible, and showing so much love to the characters and to the actors that played them and to the past films, and
Never
that
been done.
was
History of
amazing.
film.
The whole middle act was basically a giant love letter to the MCU, paying homage to
Yeah,
what
for
came before.
sure.
So
Oh
I like
man, we got
that part of that.
I think that's the last time we're gonna see Stan Lee cameo.
Nah, he'll cameo in other ways. He'll use his picture. They'll use some CGI.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll rotoscope for sure, but word was that. Well, that was the last one he was on set for to do for a film.
I'm sure
That's
they'll,
the last time.
they'll find a way for Stan to be still
Real
be in
one.
there. But I mean, it was just cool. All the homages were fucking amazing, and that whole middle, like I said, the whole middle act was basically just them paying homage to everything that came before. The first opening act was establishing that hopelessness, and of course, Ant-Man coming back was kind of the key, and I knew it was going to be. I knew they were going to kind of use the quantum realm to kind of fix everything. So it's cool that they really introduced the quantum realm even more as like a major aspect in, you know, the MCU. It opens up a lot of potential, also a lot of fucking problems, but a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, a lot of potential, but a lot of problems.
It's so easy to just do. So if any problem pops up, why don't you just hop in the quantum realm and go? Yeah. So it's cool, but God, it's gonna create a lot of issues that they're gonna have to kind of deal with. So let's talk some character deaths. Do you think Black Widow's really gone?
See, that's the thing. Cause that's the thing. Cause she can't be really gone if they could just bring Gamora back from wherever.
Past. That's what I'm saying.
So they could technically still have a Black Widow if they really want to. I feel like
they could technically still have a Tony Stark. This is the problem with a lot of shit that they created. Why not just go back? I mean, you see, Gamora's here. She just popped up from the past and just walking around freely.
Real.
No issues.
And do those timelines just erase then? So I could go back and grab anybody? What? See, that makes no sense.
A lot of like, problems
what if I like just go back to every timeline and just grab myself from like 5 minutes from every year, like 5 minutes apart?
Right.
So then I just have 1,000 of me's from 5 minutes apart in one timeline.
They cause a lot of problems. Now I even think about it more. They cause a lot of problems.
Real, that like blew my. Now thinking about it even more, it's just like, whoa, that's okay. You guys didn't explain anything.
Gamora's here, so I thought they're gonna actually save Gamora somehow from like. All right, so here's my theory: is that yes.
Well, what if she's not there?
Here's my theory from her dying. Yes, you have to die, give up your soul to get the Soul Stone, but there's such thing as the Soul World, so I don't really think that you die. You just kind of
this is the realm. Yeah, she's there.
Get transferred to the Soul Realm, and not spoiler because I thought they were going to introduce him, but they didn't. There's Adam Warlock in the comic books who comes from the Soul Realm and even manifests himself out of the Soul Realm. So I know it's possible to leave the Soul Realm and rejoin the real kind of realm, or the realm that that we all know. So I really thought they're going to somehow kind of break her out of there and bring her back, but they didn't do it that way, and they just brought her back from the past, which was like, okay, then just bring Tony Stark from the fucking past. Like, I just don't get it now. Like, what's the rules here?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. But what it seems like is because they are gonna do a Black Widow movie,
but it's gonna be before.
It's gonna be a prequel.
So Black Origins.
I feel like they're gonna have to do more than one. I feel like it's gonna do well.
They're gonna have to bring her back some way, and they're gonna have for that. I think they're gonna have to introduce Adam Warlock again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how many more movies is Scarlett on for? That's a big question right there.
I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know, but that was a interesting little exchange though to get to that point when she did die though. And I
Yeah,
think they played it out the only way they could.
yeah, they really wanted to show that kind of connection between those two. I mean, you knew it kind of from the first Avengers, but they really didn't touch on that
Yeah.
anymore since then. So they kind of tried to reestablish that, hey, like they're really, really close. Um,
Yeah. Well, even in the first Avengers, Black Widow says she kind of owes Hawkeye anyway. For
I kind of missed Hawkeye.
yeah, right.
For
I
him
kind
being
of
the
liked that
weakest
he was fucking
Avenger,
shit
I
up in
kind
the
of missed him.
beginning.
I kind of missed him, bro.
Yeah,
He was kind of a badass here. He definitely was kind of a badass here. I
it's
kind of
nice,
missed him.
definitely.
But I mean, I think she's gonna come back. I honestly do. Um, Somehow, some way. Because
Yeah.
even they said it at the end. I miss her. It kind of felt like an open ending. Kind of. I miss her. Not like
Hmm.
she's gone, gone.
And they
Um,
said she knows. Like, there's like, I just want to tell her like we won or something. And
yeah.
then,
Like yeah, she knows. Yeah. So it felt a little bit open ended. Death in comic books is always iffy.
she said they both know. She said she knows. They both know. I think she was talking about two people. The Scarlet Witch said
Yeah.
that.
Vision.
Yeah.
Damn. Did they even show Vision at all?
It's either Vision. She could have been talking about Gamora, but I feel like it have to be
No,
Vision, right?
she's talking about Vision. She don't know Gamora. She's talking about Vision.
Yeah.
Damn. I think about it. I don't think Vision was in this shit at all.
No, not once.
Not even an image
No,
or
I
like a
don't think
flashback kind of callback.
there was a flashback, but it was just a re. It was just it was the same footage
Damn.
to show the moment
They
when
really
they needed
shitted
the
on my
stone.
guy.
Yeah, they did. They
I'm
didn't
not
give
gonna.
him
I
any
mean, they
part.
should because they really fucked his character up in the cinematic universe. But
Yeah, because Vision's like legendary
she
shit.
didn't touch on this shit at all. Damn.
Yeah, I was like, he's powerful as fuck. Like, why didn't they? You know?
Yeah, they made him look like a bitch in the last one.
Yeah, they did.
Damn. So yeah, there were a couple other deaths, right? Outside of Tony.
Um,
I want to say Tony for last. I know Black Widow died. Well, I think we basically confirmed that Loki's gone. Um,
yeah.
basically anybody who died that wasn't part of the snap, I think assumed dead, dead.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I was a little bit confused. Just some of the stuff, like I said, is confusing. Um, but hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't really think. Let us know if anybody else major died along the way before Tony. But let's just talk about Tony. Okay, so this was the big, big, obviously moment that they've been building up to for so long since basically he set off the whole MCU. And he was so crucial to not only the franchise and the universe, but just to superhero films in general. He was the perfect embodiment of fucking Tony Stark. And you don't really know where Downey ends and he begins. So it was just his whole run has been amazing.
Hmm.
I was I wasn't sure if it was going to be him or Captain who sacrificed himself because to me I really thought it was going to be Captain America, but looking back, they kind of alluded to it saying that, I just can't die on this one and
Yeah.
gave him all these basically conclusions to like his story with the family and the daughter and everything. And
Hmm.
they kind of wrapped everything up before the fact. So it was kind of
Yeah, they
weird.
almost made us because it felt like he died in that scene when he was in the ship for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, did he just die?
And
Like
then
Captain Marvel saves him.
And I guess it only makes sense it would come full circle because he's the one that sacrificed himself in the first one, and that he
And
was
he proved
sacrificing himself.
Captain wrong because Cap said he's not the guy to make the sacrifice. But
Right. So, I mean, it kind of made sense, but
yeah,
I was just thinking more comic book lines, and definitely would have been Cap who would have died probably. Um,
hmm
since he still is the heart and soul of the whole Avengers,
yeah,
but I guess he didn't get his conclusion until after the fact. So I guess
yeah.
that kind of makes sense. But what do you
He
think
got to
about
use
just
Thor's
the
hammer.
moment that he dies? Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Tony Stark's death and how they played it up and how they,
Oh man, it was brilliant. I think that moment, because I was like, oh shit, there's no way that they just lost again. Like, cause like
yeah, he's
Thanos
about to
is
snap
just,
his fan. Yeah,
yeah, and then nothing happened. I was like, what? And then he had the thing on his head. I was like, yes, Tony. He's like,
how
I'm
he got the
Iron Man.
stones, I don't know, but yeah,
Oh, because he programmed that. Remember, he was. That's how they were trying to do it before, because the goblet was destroyed, or whatever. They didn't have the hand,
oh
so
yeah,
he
yeah, it
built a
wasn't on the gum.
machine
Yeah, yeah,
to
you're right.
harness the power.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you're
he
right.
had it already ready to go. So he just took it. He basically just had it do
Yeah.
it. So that's how that worked. Cause I remember that. So then I was like, oh shit. But then when he did it, I thought he was just gonna die immediately. They let him live a little bit longer than I thought he would. Honestly.
Yeah, you gotta get the final goodbye.
Because well, everybody else that touched the Infinity Stone blew up before
Right.
that. So like they just kind of like made it seem
I
like
mean, unless they're saying the suit kind of channeled the power a little bit,
yeah, I don't know.
which kind of makes sense because how else would he be able to go up against basically fucking gods in a suit, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a fantastic wrap to just his entire run and his whole story. That he would be the one after all this to make the ultimate sacrifice again, but this time like really, really do it. Especially after the fact that he got kind of his, like I said, his happy ending with this, his daughter and everything. And
Yeah. But it was so sad though. It was definitely sad. They
it's
played it
definitely
real
sad.
sad.
Yeah, it's
I
definitely
was
sad.
like, oh,
Like,
people are gonna cry at this part. This is sad. Like
yeah,
it felt sad. Like the more and then like there was a little Easter egg homage to when that one agent dude was sitting with his daughter and said
mm-hmm.
like you want some food and she was like she likes
Cheeseburger. Yeah,
cheeseburgers and that
touching
was
that.
like when Tony Stark got back in Iron Man 1 he wanted a cheeseburger. He's like your dad likes cheeseburgers. So it's like oh shit. Just little stuff like that I thought was really really well done and placed well. I thought it was good. But yeah man, it was a good send off.
Great send off. I think overall it was just a great send off for. I mean, because he's basically the face of the franchise at this point. So I just thought they handled the send off of all these important characters extremely, extremely well. Um, yeah. The last thing I just want to talk about was obviously have to talk about the fight scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking epic.
That
Like
shit was crazy. I didn't think they could get crazy in the first one. That was crazier than the first one.
people were legitimately cheering when who was saying when Falcon was like to your left, and then once they saw like the ring open up and all the characters start to pop out, and then all
Yeah.
of Wakanda like kind of come out
That
and
was the
back them
one
up.
thing that he did right, the Hulk, was bring everybody back.
Yeah,
See, we were shitting on him, but he did bring everybody back. The Hulk
yeah,
is the one who did it.
the one thing. But the fight scene, like people were legitimately cheering in the theater when that shit happened. That shit was fucking epic. Like
Yeah.
seeing them all kind of come out at the same time, seeing all the characters on screen, all backing up, ready to go to fucking battle. Like that shit was
Yeah.
fucking dope
It
as shit.
was
Um,
crazy.
but obviously, the highlight of the entire fucking battle, finally, Captain
Captain
America picked up fucking Mjolnir.
Yo, when Captain America picked
Holy
up
shit! Childhood complete.
oh, I
Like
screamed. Oh, yeah, for real. That was
childhood
everything I ever wanted.
fucking complete.
It's like, yo, okay. They
I
did
think
it.
Thor pretty much spoke for everybody when it happened. When he was like, "I knew it," like everybody was like, "I
Yeah, for
fucking
real.
knew
Yeah,
it."
it's
Like
like
I've literally been waiting for this moment for a long fucking time. Like I thought it was gonna happen in the first one, but I'm kind of glad it
Yeah,
didn't. And to see him pick that shit up and fucking wreck Thanos for a minute was so fucking satisfying, yo. Oh my god.
that shit was amazing. It was amazing. And then it was crazy because then they did a little bit of humor because Thor had the
Yeah, he's
Stormbreaker,
like, "Fuck
and
you,
then
take the
like
little
they
one."
switched it. He's like, no, 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 you take the little one, give me that. Like, I was like,
Like Captain America with powers or a weapon like that is OP.
yeah, that's not even fair.
Not even fair, bro. I think he used that shit almost better than Hulk. I mean, Thor ever did. Like in that short sequence,
Yeah, bro, he never
fucking
used it
him
and was
up.
using that shit like he invented it. Like like Cap was
Ah,
out there.
that shit was so fucking good, bro.
Yeah, it
That
was
was by far the highlight. I mean, the rest of it was really cool, but because there are so many characters, everything was such a quick cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this guy's fucking somebody up for about 3 seconds. Oh, then there's this guy fucking somebody else up for 5 seconds. Oh, and here's Spider-Man getting fucked up left and right. So I don't know. Like, shit was just satisfying all around. But seeing Cap pick up that hammer was by far the most satisfying.
yeah, for sure. That was the highlight of that whole fight for sure. And then the finale of the fight was also the highlight. That part and the end
Yeah,
with
the end.
you
Okay,
know,
one part of the battle I do want to talk about before the actual battle happened. And one thing I actually did like about this one is, all right, in the Infinity War, Thanos was kind of like this super, like he was still evil and he's like this big bad villain, but his plan and
yeah.
like his kind of ideas were still kind of relatable. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like they still kind of made sense. Like he was still like a relatable kind of anti-hero than necessarily a straight up villain. But because of like the kind of retcon
Yeah.
that they did, and once he found out their plans, he went straight up villain, and it was fucking badass because he was like, "I'm glad that I found this out." And shit, what do you say? He's like, "Things like this are never. I've destroyed many worlds, and it's never been personal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna enjoy this." Oh, that shit!
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, he is a full on fucking villain, like badass villain right now." And he was just sitting there
Yeah.
waiting, like on his throne, like the fucking final boss in Mortal Kombat or something. When
For
I came
real.
out to fight him, oh,
He
that
is
shit
the
was
final
sick.
boss.
That shit
That
was
was
sick.
lit. Hell
And he
yeah.
was wrecking shit, bro. Like,
Oh yeah, dog. And then he pulled the Braveheart commander shit where he was like, yo, just send the Hellfire down. Like it's gonna kill our own troops. Fucking send it down, do it now. Like
uh, that shit was dope. And then Captain Marvel fucked him up and then like before he put the
yeah.
Power Stone in, like I don't know, it was just a lot of dope ones. But Thanos going full villain was fucking epic. I thought that shit was dope. So you
I
got to
think
actually see.
that fulfilled my like villain best villain since the Joker kind of category, you know?
Mm, that's a that's a whole another discussion for another day. But
Oh yeah, no, but he kind of is there.
he's definitely there because they gave two different versions of him, but both versions were fucking dope as fuck.
Hell yeah, he was like soft and savage. Like
Like he's relatable, but then you got
like
this
I get
straight up
it.
archetypal fuck everybody, fuck the world, fuck I'm gonna wipe everybody off this planet, off the universe, you know?
Right.
Because people were complaining that he didn't really feel like a full on villain or he wasn't badass enough, but then they gave it to you in this one, so it's like can't really complain because you got both sides now.
Yeah, for real.
It was just dope. Like, god damn, that shit was dope. Whew.
Shit was
Um,
epic. I gotta see it again.
yeah, for
But,
sure. I mean, I think we pretty much touched on most of the shit I wanted to talk about it on. We're definitely going to have to do a ranking of the MCU
ooh.
stuff
Oh yeah, for sure.
for sure coming up
This one's
some
up
here
there.
sometime soon. That's gonna be a pretty hefty debate, so definitely gonna do that. But other than
Yeah.
that, man, I fucking they just the fact that they just made this happen and the fact that it turned out as fucking good as it did is still
Yeah.
mind blowing to me.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy because it actually ended well. it wasn't trash, and I was
No.
shocked that it actually ended well. I was like,
Yes.
"Whoa, they actually
Endings
did
are
this, and it made
extremely hard to
sense.
pull off.
It
Yes.
actually works." I was like, "Shit, that's crazy."
Yes. God damn, it was good.
So
So fucking
hats off, Marvel. Let me actually take my hat off. Hats off. You guys
good
did
fucking
that.
job, bro. That shit was dope.
Only question is, what happened during the 5 years with
Mm.
everybody? Like Wakanda. What happened in Wakanda during the 5 years when
Well, they
Black
kind of
Panther?
said it. Oh yeah, Wakanda. Maybe they'll
He's the
explain
king.
that. Maybe Black Panther too.
Yeah, maybe. Or they might just like not and
Yeah, who
forget
knows?
that time travel ever happened and
They're gonna
whatever.
have to because that caused way too many issues. Oh my god, when you start really talking about it, there are a lot of fucking
That's
issues
what I'm
with what
saying.
they
I'm
did.
like, yo,
Jesus.
that 5 year gap. I don't know. They should have made it
The
5 weeks.
quantum realm that fucked a lot of shit up. Like, yo,
Oh yeah,
just bring Stark back.
right. But other
Gamora's
than that, other than the loopholes, the wide gaps, it was excellent.
other than the nonsense that I get it. I get it because time is always very hard to pull off in movies, and the
Right.
rules never make sense, but they really don't fucking make sense here.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, if you just kind of ignore that shit and just enjoy for the fucking love letter to the MCU and to its fans, then
Yeah.
they fucking knocked this shit out of the park.
Oh yeah. But
So
yeah,
yeah, if you have seen Avengers Endgame, what do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about some of the stuff we talked about? Particularly with the way they dealt with time and death, and do you think uh it was well worth the wait? Do you think they pulled it off, the impossible? They created a universe and somehow gave it a fucking fitting ending, like we believe it did.
yeah.
Let us know, in the comments down below wherever you enjoy this. Watch this on YouTube or listen on SoundCloud or iTunes or Google Play Music. And as always, man, if you're enjoying these podcasts, please subscribe to us wherever you enjoy us. That's on YouTube or SoundCloud or iTunes or Google Play Music. We're on all of those except for probably Spotify. It's the only one that I don't think we're on. So please subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, or topic suggestions about this show, past show, or any future show, be sure to let us know down below in the comments wherever this goes up, or you can email us directly at livinglifefearless.co or go to livinglifefearless.co/podcast and let us know directly there. But yeah, great show.
Avengers Endgame. Go
Avengers,
see it if you haven't. I don't know why you listen to this whole thing.
go see
If
it.
you
Definitely go
haven't
see
seen
it.
it,
If you haven't seen it and you're still listening, sorry, you're kind of fucked. But
yeah,
if you have seen it, go watch
you
this shit
can
again.
watch it and see if you agree with us. So
Yeah. If
but
you have seen it, watch this shit again and kind of look out for some stuff we talked about. But
yeah, for real.
again,
Till
thank you guys
next
for
time.
joining us. Today's date was April 27th, 2019. We'll be back shortly for some more podcasts for you guys. But until then, keep doing what, Derice?
Well, like my hat says, keep living life fearless. Oh,
Hell
and
yeah.
the hoodie swag. What y'all
Yes,
think?
sir. We'll catch you guys
Fearless.
on the flip side. Peace.